You told me to change my top, so I changed the dog collar.
Okay, we can begin now.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
You're right.
Yeah, welcome to the Peking Institute of Dermatology.
What's he talking about? Are you just going to make outrageous jokes that I can't put on Rev Chat?
No.
Are you well?
Yes, are you?
Yes, I'm fine. This is an extra Rev Chat we've done. Well, it's not extra, is it? It's the one we're doing a week ahead of time.
This is number 20 whatever.
We've lost count. But you're going to be on holiday the week this airs.
Yes.
Enjoying yourself in West Dorset, I hope.
I was thinking of going to the bottom of our garden.
That sounds a really good place to go.
It would be. Because there are lots of sheep barring.
Ooh, quick intro into our gospel passage this week.
Lots of lambs barring away there.
Oh, well, should we do our pause now and then we'll just crack on?
A bit like this, really.
Oh.
Lovely. Given to me by a church warden who used to farm sheep when I left Shropshire.
Oh, I've got a sheep too.
My sheep are better than yours. I've got a lamb as well.
So mine's on the end of a pencil. It's still quite good.
Yeah, all right.
All right then. Well, let's enough. Oh, I need a good sheep-based pun. You see, I'm not quick enough.
No, you're balmy. Just go on with it.
Time for the pause.
Okay. On the other hand, you could have done better. Like lambs to the slaughter. Anyway, just get on with it. It's a reading from John's Gospel.
They're not going to be flocking to watch this, are they? Really?
They could well be. They could be. 15 sheep in one sheep pen.
So the eagle-eared amongst you will have noticed, and the eagle-eyed will notice we're something to do with sheep this week. So we are in Easter. The fourth Sunday of Easter, is this right?
It is.
3rd of May. And
yes.
We are in John's Gospel.
We are.
So we're not on resurrection appearances anymore.
No.
We've moved on. Okay, so this is from John's Gospel, chapter 10, verses 1 to 10. Jesus, the Good Shepherd. Very truly I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will not follow a stranger, but they will run from him because they do not know the voice of strangers. Jesus used this figure of speech with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So again, Jesus said to them, very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who come before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly.
Do you want me to shepherd you through this debate?
Oh, very good. Well,
where are you in it?
I'm feeling a bit sheepish, so you go ahead.
Where are you?
Where am I now?
In that talk.
What? Where am I in that story?
Yes.
I like to think I'm in the sheepfold.
Ooh. Place of safety.
Yeah. Being looked after, being cared for, known, and recognising my shepherd's voice, which means I need to afford myself at least a moment of time to listen for him. I'm quite good at not letting him speak. It would surprise you to know, no doubt. I like to talk. I'm not so good at listening. And yeah, and I like the idea of following Jesus, bringing abundant life.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful phrase, isn't it?
Mm.
I come that you may have life abundantly. It's a beautiful thought. And in the whole history of, or not the, sorry, not the history, but the whole background, I think, to this story is about the role of the shepherd within the whole hierarchy of flock and what it's meant. I said to you earlier that I researched this greatly once for a presentation I had to give to the Shropshire and Staffordshire Methodist Ladies Guild, which is like their equivalent, I understand, of the Mothers Union. And this was in a place called Bishop's Castle in Clun I had to go to, way down in the south of Shropshire. And they were very keen. They were all farmers' wives, and they knew probably more about sheep and shepherding than I'll ever learn. But what they were really keen to understand is, for them, the story of the shepherd being the gates, which is what he tells us in this, and that because those pens in the time of Jesus rarely had gates on them, the shepherd slept in the gap because the sheep wouldn't pass them. And how we as the flock of Jesus good at obeying what Jesus said, not stepping over him to go and have a crafty pint or whatever. And also the fact that all the sheep on the hillside were just mixed into various pens, and then the shepherd in the morning, each one in turn, came and called out, and the sheep recognized their specific voice. And it's about that following Jesus. And if we follow Jesus, then the life of abundance is guaranteed, isn't it? Yeah.
And it takes me back into the Old Testament as well, because the metaphor of Israel and God as a shepherd and sheep is from that. And the Lord is my shepherd from Psalm 23. And then from Isaiah as well, you know, I have called you by name, you are mine. Though you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. You know, the idea that our relationship with God is one of care and compassion and knowing us intimately.
One of the commentaries I briefly looked at earlier was suggesting that this story is part of the line which would include the Isaiah passages of the suffering servant, which I thought was quite interesting.
I wonder about abundance, life in abundant. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. It's funny, isn't it? Because I mean, I guess we're recording this in April, and I guess by the beginning of May, the likelihood is we're still in lockdown, I would imagine. And a lot of the things that we associate with a good life are kind of restricted at the moment. So you can't travel, you can't be with friends, you can't be with family, you can't go to restaurants, you can't walk very far away from where you live, can't go to the sea. Things that often people, you can't go to the theatre or art galleries. I mean, you can see an amazing amount of stuff online, but all the things that people might think came as part of the package of abundant life are gone at the moment. But actually, I would say it's probably drawn us back to some of the things that are hugely important in life, and actually is what Jesus brings us, you know, love, relationships, time, just being connected to God in the everyday, a simpler life maybe. I mean, that's not true for everyone in lockdown. Lockdown can be really oppressive for lots of people, but for some of us, it's been a gift in a way.
Yeah, I think what I've gained so far out of this, apart from the fact that my bank balance has grown immensely from buying you coffee in Cilla and Camilla, and others, what I've actually really gained from it is the fact that we have time. I've had time to do things which I should be doing, either spiritual normally, but we get sidetracked into this meeting and that meeting. Now meetings are starting to hot up again online, but I can turn the sound off and the camera off if I want to, but I'm still present, and I get a good tick from school governors because it shows I've done my turn for the year. But what I've really got is the silence, because the traffic hasn't been as heavy. I've enjoyed sitting out in, well, not sitting, but walking around my garden at 6:30, 7:15 in the morning, just hearing birds and lambs, as I said earlier, bleating. I've enjoyed coming in and actually really getting into reading some of the books I've really wanted to read for a long time, and having the silence to explore that spiritual aspect of what we should have been doing all along. And so that abundance for me has been abundance for me in many ways.
Yeah. And I just think about, you know, God gives us amazing things that sometimes we forget to enjoy or to be grateful for, and we're constantly looking for the next thing, the next kick, the next excitement. And actually sometimes the abundant life of generosity and love and forgiveness and mercy and peace are the things that we forget or we ignore, and then when everything else is taken away, actually you realize that those things are still left and they're there to enjoy all the time.
I think it's partly as well what I've always tried to say to people about, you know, in churches. They'll say, oh, we need this, or we haven't got that, or we need more of that or the other. And I've always believed deeply that God, because of God's grace and generosity, he always gives us what we need. We don't need any more, so he doesn't give it to us, but he gives us what we need for whatever the task is or the thing we've got to do. And we often overlook that. And what I've noticed is, have I missed going to the restaurant? Well, I haven't noticed I've missed going yet, because we made best with what we've got. And unlike others who seem to have to buy loads and loads of stuff in advance, we've just bought what we've needed and enjoyed it. Have I missed out on not going shopping? I haven't. Mrs. Rector might have done, but I haven't missed out on going shopping particularly, because I realise actually I've got everything we need within reason here in life. And the whole thing about the good shepherd stories, because this is just the first of them, isn't it? It links into more and more of them in John's Gospel, is that we have to recognise that the love of God is shown in everything. He cares for us, he looks after us. We've got to recognise his voice, and we've got to follow. And if we do, I think we're being told that abundance of living is ours, not for the taking, but for the sharing. And I don't know about you, because my girls, as you know, well, one's fairly local, but my children are fairly wherever. I've just had the great joy of talking more with them than I would do normally, because they will ring just on disappearing to a PCC meeting, and they speak to their mom and will say, it's a shame we can't talk to dad. So whilst you've got your children in school and at home, enjoy the great time you've got, because that's part of God's great abundance to you to enjoy and to share with them. And I think we have to take those moments, whether they were meant intentionally. And we do remember those who are suffering dreadfully from the effects of the virus. It's very easy to be upbeat here in Dorset because we're not seeing the great effect that some of the major cities of our country are. But whether it's intentional or not, for God to say, right, slow down, regather the things together, and look at what is to be done in the future, it's an opportunity to take stock, isn't it?
Well, and I think also abundant life doesn't end at our death. Abundant life continues. So even in the midst of suffering and death, which is definitely a reality for lots of people, that same assurance is true, that Jesus is there and is part of that transition from one life into another part of life with God, and that we are known. That's the bit that's quite astounding, really, that you know, the shepherd knows his sheep and they know his voice, and Jesus knows us and we know him, and that relationship is amazing and intimate and is ours to cherish, I guess.
It's also that remarkable saying, you know, that we read in those passages of the crucifixion, that all this is intended so that he will not lose one of them. Which I think is being picked up in these stories. You know, whether people recognise it or not, God knows us all, and we all have our own way of dealing with him or not dealing with him or not wanting to or ignoring. But ultimately, God still knows us. He still cares for us. He still loves us.
Well, and he wants us all. He'll go after the lost ones.
He will. But yeah, he needs a bit of help. So we're the kind of junior shepherds, aren't we?
Well, we were rereading our ordination vows, weren't we, as we were preparing for this. And the can you read the bit from, mine's different from when I was ordained under Common Worship, but you were ordained under
the alternative
AFB.
service book. I was. It's fairly simple.
A lovely shepherd moment.
It is, which I ought to know off the top of my head. I'll read this every month. It says clearly, priests must set the good shepherd always before them as the pattern of their calling, caring for the people committed to their charge and joining with them in a common witness to the world.
That's as good as any, isn't it, really? That's what
it is. So,
we're done.
Next week, you'll be working doubly hard to keep up the standards, I'm sure.
Of course.
And of course, I will have had my feet up all week.
You will, so you'll be rested and full of intellectual vigour.
Never been known before, but I'll try it for you.
We love seeing you. Join us every week for Rev Chat. You can find us on the Beaminster Team website, beaminsterteamchurches.org, on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Beaminster Team. You can even write to us at the Rector or the Vicarage if you want. We enjoy hearing from you, and we're praying for you as our lockdown continues. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.